Hey guys, Juicy here. Just going to go through a quick starting method for getting ready to start in Mechanism. And Mechanism is a pretty cool mod. It allows you to get a lot of things, but essentially one of the best things it can do early on is get you some steel, and you can use that steel to further your tiers in Mechanism and get into energy production on a larger scale and automation. And one of the biggest reasons people get into Mechanism, I believe, is that it can multiply your ores. It can turn one ore into like I think four once you've reached the top tiers. So it's an awesome way to multiply your production. So, but one of the problems I found is that online guides and things like that are sort of lacking in how they describe to get started in Mechanism, and I think some of the stuff is outdated as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and go through how I got started in Mechanism and how you might consider doing it as well using heat generators. And obviously you'll need a metallurgy confuser. And for those of you not familiar with this mod, I'll sort of just cover these briefly in just a moment. But first you're going to need a few things. And this is really all you need to get started with your base Mechanism machinery. And you're going to need a little bit of osmium. It's pretty easy to get. You find it in the world, just mining around. It'll be all over the place. Just smelt that in an oven and you'll get the osmium ingots. You're also going to need a little bit of iron, some copper, a few redstone, wood, basic things that you can just get within a few minutes of starting on pretty much any server. Also, we'll need a little bit of lava, and that is because these heat generators run off of lava. You can also drop some like coal or something in here, and it will power it, but it's pretty inefficient, and it's definitely way better to grab some renewable resource, such as like the lava that will just keep letting this produce energy as long as there's lava next to it. And so that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So I'm going to show you guys a way I found that's actually really compact and an excellent way to get started with putting this somewhere in your base. As you can see, you'd have to drop lava all around these to get these to absorb the energy from the lava on the three faces. This is the only face that you don't need to put it on. This is the output face, but the other three faces here, and where this table would be there is definitely we're going to need to put some lava around it, and you'll see how that is. So just briefly covering what this is going to do. This is a power source in the Mechanism mod. It's one of the most basic ones. You don't need steel. You don't need much else other than what you see here to create quite a few of these. What I listed here will get you 4 heat generators and one of these metallurgy confusers. So the heat generator will be powering this metallurgy confuser, and you'll use the infuser to make your steel. And I'll sort of show you how we're going to do that. But first, just looking at the recipe for the heat generator, you can see it's pretty simple. Just some iron up here, some wood, osmium in the center, a furnace, and a few copper. So you can easily grab, 4 of these. If you want to max out as many of these as you can get to power one of these metallurgy confusers at max speed, grab 6 of these. But the pattern I'm going to show sort of runs in divisions of 4, and you'll still see what I mean in a minute when I get started. So I've already made my heat generators, so I'm going to go ahead and start plopping these down. And so in the pattern that I've sort of figured out to be awesome is if you grab any square plot of land like this, leave a cross and dig around it. We're going to go ahead and just leave the cross there and just punch out everything we see bordering it. And you'll see what that's going to do for us in just a minute. Let me go ahead and fill those holes in there. And so now on this cross, right in the center is where we're going to drop our metallurgy confuser. And on the sides here, we're going to put our heat generators. Now each of these heat generators will output 4 RF per tick. And RF is like the energy source in Mechanism that Mechanism uses. And it's pretty forgiving. You can transfer it to any other energy source just using Mechanism cables, which is pretty awesome. So RF is a great type of energy to go ahead and start out with for early game and power other machines with. So each of these will put out 4 RF per tick. The metallurgy confuser can run at a maximum of 24 RF per tick. See over there using. And so you can really get, if you get 6 of these, that'll give you the 24 you need to max this thing's speed out early on. It's not difficult to do, but I'll just go ahead and show you how to do these 4 in a pretty neat pattern. So all you're going to need now is the lava buckets over here that I have listed. You're going to grab a bucket and 4 lava sources and just drop each lava source right behind your heat generators. And that's going to spread and cover all 3 faces of each one. So now you have, it actually produces 2 RF per T per face that's being touched by lava. So that's 2 RF per T, 2 RF per T, and then another 2 here, for a total of 6. I don't quite understand why it does this, but it can produce 6 max, but it can only output 4. So the third face is kind of irrelevant as far as I can tell so far. Just lets it sort of capacitor to sort of store some RF in within this heat generator itself. You're not going to see anything in here. This is if you were to be loading coal into this slot right here. And we're not going to do that because this is way more efficient. So now our metallurgic infuser is going to be maxed out. You can see right here it's already been powered all the way up to 9600, and it would be using it if we were to stick some stuff in here. And I'll show you what we're going to need to go ahead and get our steel dust initially. And that is we're going to need twice as much. Actually, I'll just go ahead and put this back. We're going to need twice as much coal as we do iron. So let's go ahead and make ourselves like 3 pieces. We're going to go ahead and make ourselves 3 steel dust. So we'll need 3 iron. Oh, got a little too much there. We're going to need 3 iron and twice as much coal. And that's because we're going to infuse the coal using the infuser into the iron twice. And so we'll go ahead and plop our coal in here. 1, 2, 3. And I'll just keep this 3 so you can see. Over here it's going to list what we're filling it up with. This purple slot is what you're going to be infusing. We're infusing the coal into this iron. So we're going to go ahead and drop this right here. And you can see it gets kicking right away. And it's draining the power out of here because it's running at 24. And so it's using the 4, 8, 12, 16 we've got pumping into it, plus the stores that it was storing while we were talking. And so it won't be running this fast the whole time. As soon as this runs out, it'll slow down a little bit. But that's okay, we're not making very much anyways. So here we are getting some enriched iron, and in order to get our steel dust, we have to infuse coal into this enriched iron one more time. So I'm going to drag this over here, plug it in, and give it 3 more coal, and it should begin infusing it. There we go. And it's going to make us some, here I have some steel dust right here. It's going to go ahead and make us a good amount of steel dust. So I'm going to go ahead and start plugging this lava up, because I want to show you guys how you can expand this into a larger generator if you want to keep it compact within a base. It's a great way to just keep something off, maybe in your basement or something like that, in the ground, and have yourself producing a good amount of energy from just heat generators at the beginning of the game. So, because they're pretty easy to make. So now we have 3 steel dust, and you go ahead and there's different ways you can smelt that. But early on, you're either going to be probably using like a blast furnace, bleh. Or what I use is the Tinker's Construct smeltery, which is a multi-block structure, and many people are familiar with Tinker's Construct, so I won't say too much about it, other than it's just a great way to go ahead and smelt your steel for pretty much free. Just drop some lava in the tank. I've got mine over there, you can see, and then just melt it and grab yourself some blocks or some ingots out of it. And so definitely a great way to go ahead and get early game steel. And you know how stingy GregTech can be with that. So this mod sort of lets you have an alternative way to get steel. So now I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the center. Let's say we've already grabbed some steel, and we want to take that original steel we're going to get and craft some universal cables. Now that's not too difficult. Once you start getting steel, all you need to do is put 1 steel on each side of redstone, and you'll get 8. And that'll pretty much do us early game. You can just grab 8 of those, maybe 16. And what you can do is go ahead and punch out. We're just going to work down. We're not doing anything too crazy, just expanding downward. That way we save space, save lava. I can show you how we can do this with the same number of lava source blocks, so you don't have to go get any more if you're lazy or just trying to be efficient. So we're going to go ahead and just say, all right, well, we've grabbed 8 more of these heat generators. Right, so here we go, putting 8 more in the same spot underneath these 2. And I'm going to have some trouble getting out of here, so I'm going to have to fly. And now we're going to take our basic universal cable that we've crafted and connect them all in the center. So there we go. Now we've got a pretty large generator here, something that we're going to use to get us a good amount of heat generation and produce a good amount of RF. And maybe we can store it in one of Mekanism's energy cubes or something of that variety. So definitely a great way to get rolling and keep it compact. And I'm going to show you again how we can do that with the same 4. You're thinking, oh, I have to fill this all up with lava. It's going to be messy. I have to take forever putting all this lava in here. But really what you can do, if you're got a few extra blocks here, just going to plop them down. And I'll sort of show you why. It might not be apparent, obviously, off the bat. But just put those there. one block down, and we want this this lava we've got to rest right here on this block. And what this is going to do when I put this lava here, the lava is going to flow down behind the generator, around to the side, because this is here. If it weren't here, it would just say, oh, okay, I'm going straight down, and then we're missing out on the face here that we need to be covered. Well, actually, it seems to be going ahead and wrapping around, but just to be safe, what I like to do is punch out that block. So once I place my lava and I know it's going to start flowing around, then I punch out that center block to let it flow down to the bottom. So same thing on all sides. Oop, I sort of was a little impatient. Let's see if that, yep, it just went and flowed itself. But there we go. And so now it should be flowing around to these corners. It's touching both faces of whichever generators are on any given corner. And then we've punched this out, and so the source block is flowing straight down as well to cover all the backs of the generator. So we're getting like max production from this generator setup here. So now we can go ahead and grab a little bit of our cable, which we haven't actually used that much of. Total should be, let's see, 1, 2, 3. If it can place there, 4, 5, 6, 7. We haven't even used our initial 8, so just crafting 1 will let us do this. You can actually even do 7 and just place that right there. And now I can actually zap this and see right there it says it's giving us 960 RF per second, actually. So that's a little misleading. That's not in ticks. That's okay. What the important thing is that if we grab some iron and some coal, we can go ahead and infuse ourselves with a good amount of iron pretty quickly. And it's going to run at max speed. We actually have a good bit excess, because remember I said 6 of these heat generators will max out the metallurgic infuser. But as you're getting more advanced, you might want to do something cool, like, you know, grab a couple of these, cable them off, and then now you've got so we've got 12 heat generators, and we're running both of these at maximum efficiency. And if you're not interested or not using that at the time, you can also get, like, I believe they've got basic energy cubes is what they're called. Yep, here it is. It's an empty one. That's crafted. It's a little more complicated. You have to make yourself a steel casing, so it takes some steel and an osmium to make the casing, and then these energy tablets also take some gold, redstone, and an enriched alloy, which again, you use your infuser, and this is pretty easily made. Instead of infusing iron with coal, you just infuse it with redstone. That would be why you might want 2 of these, and then you can make yourself one of these cubes and store a good bit of RF in case you want to use it later. So we're going to go ahead and plug this over here, and just to show that should be getting some power here. Yep, it's starting to fill up here. We're running this at maximum, hasn't started dropping yet. This one isn't being used, so that's why we're not using both of these at the moment, but you get the idea. You can plug multiple things into it, and you can keep expanding this further and further and further down. Anytime you want, just go ahead and grab a bucket, scoop up your source, because you'll only have one. Since I'm in creative, I've got infinite, so I'm just going to go ahead and block them off, make them go away, and there we go. We can just drop down in there, plant some more heat generators, a little more cable, and we've got ourselves a nice deep generator structure here that we can just keep expanding as long as we want to keep producing heat generators. So this is just a really good way to get started. So let me know what you guys think, and if you've got any other methods that you guys think work out pretty well, I'd love to see them. And thanks for watching.